Well, welcome everyone once again to another conversation with our everyday ordinary mystics. This show is about honoring and recognizing all the people that have stepped on the spiritual journey. They're taking responsibility for themselves, and they're going out into the world and they're expressing their true authentic selves. And we're here to celebrate that. Today's guest is Ashley, and I've known Ashley not in a real close, intimate way, but I've kind of worked with her for about a year. And what I can tell you about Ashley, this is a huge compliment. Besides myself, and I don't say this with arrogance, she is the hardest working person in her spiritual journey that I have met so far.
Oh,
She takes it seriously, does the work, goes deep. There's nothing that she's not afraid of. And I really, really honor that in her. And like I said in the other interviews, I started asking the universe, what do you see as my guest's divine qualities? And and this is what I see in Ashley as well, that you embody so much of the first ray energies and the number. It's not necessary to really see the cards, but this first ray and the number one is all about divine will and
oh my
power,
gosh, that's
and
so
that you
funny.
is that synchronistic?
Yeah, I've been listening to the first ray of the seven sacred seals, Divine Will, like for the past month and a half.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm getting chills. And that you represent strength, unity, and regeneration, but also this beautiful card came out. This was actually the first card, and it's divine prosperity, trust, and sharing. And it's the number four, and it's the fourth ray. And it's all about she is multi-talented. This is all about sharing your gifts out in the world, but it's prosperity, manifestation, shining your light. It's the sun. She's multi-talented, multi-genius. She shares of herself, but she also shares her prosperity with others. So, with no further ado, I don't, am I saying that right? Welcome, Ashley. And you're
Thank
on
you.
fire. You're the phoenix. Look at you. That's a
I'm
gorgeous
the
background.
Phoenix today. Woo.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to ask this question often, but I have to go back to my first question for interviews. What would you consider this up until this point? What would be the theme or the title of your book,
Oh my God.
of your life so far? I mean, maybe.
I have so many because my life is cyclical, so I have many books. But the main like title in a way of the book would be Free to Be. And that was something that I tuned into at like 2019. It kind of was coined for me, but it showed up after I had my third boy, Benjamin, in 2015. So I had three boys, and then I realized I wasn't happy. I realized I did all the shoulds, and who the heck am I? So
Right.
then I went on this journey to figure out who I was, and then I felt all this resistance of like, this is who I am, this is who I want to be. So it was like a journey to give myself permission to be free to
Me
be
to be. That's
myself.
lovely. That's beautiful. But also, I think the background truly represents a theme of your life.
Yes,
Said the cycles, and actually there you go. It's rebirth and regeneration. Yeah, I love it.
for
And
sure.
from what I know, yeah, I love it. Oh, it's perfect. So, anything you want to say before we get into the story of your journey?
Well, I think maybe this will, if we can kind of go in this direction, this will probably bring us into
Please.
the story of things. So I have, let's see, themes or names because every year I would pick a word or a phrase that was going to represent the next year.
Yeah.
And I would just tune in and feel into it, and it would always be my experience. So now I'm kind of a little bit more mental about it, but when I got mental about it, it's not really manifesting the way of when it just was received. Because I was like, wow, this really works.
Yeah.
Can I manipulate it? No, you can't. No, you can't. So, anyways, when I in 2019, I actually met Bella and this other woman named Melinda. Melinda brought us together. So my whole thing in 2019, it was free to be. And I didn't actually have the felt sense of what free to be meant until 2021 actually. So it took 2 years for
Wow.
that one to actually manifest into form. But free to be was 2019, and then 2020 was called teamwork.
Teamwork.
And I was working with Melinda and Bella, and the pandemic happened. We also brought in Simone in, I think it was 2020 or 2021. It might have been the beginning of 2021, but we met Simone in 2020. So it was Teamwork 2020 and Experience 2020. I had thought, oh, I want to do retreats. I want to have all these experiences. And little did I know the whole world shut down and there was going to
Right.
be no retreats and you were not going to have any physical experiences. It was all actually birthing the 64 door archetypes, those archetypes related to Gene Keys and human design.
Right.
And
Right.
that was my 2020. So it was Teamwork and Experience 2020.
Yeah. What an experience.
Yeah, but it was a lot of like the first ray that you brought through the divine will, like it was divine will, and I had to exert a lot of determination and willpower to actually birth the 64 archetypes because we were doing it every transit and it happened every 6 or so days, and so we had to get a name for it, we had to create copy for it, then I had to put up a website, all in 6 days. So it was
Wow.
like wham, 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 like
Now,
super
now
quick.
let's step back and just in case people are not, we're kind of, we're talking, we're at the end of the interview, but talking about it where we have, so Ashley is the founder of Unlock Your Design, right? Or
Yes.
at least the yeah, this is your baby. It was your baby. And so describe what these archetypes you blend Gene Keys and human design and
Yeah.
almost every modality into one beautiful package. So describe what you mean by the 64 doors. And
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I guess it is important
my
to talk about
audience is
that.
not Gene
Yeah.
Key human design that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So basically, on my journey to figure out who I was, the free to be, who am I? Who am I? Who is Ashley? I was introduced to Gene Keys and Human Design when I went to this entrepreneurial event, and they're like, hey, what's your chart, what's your gene keys, what's your, I was like, what is that? And they showed me it, and I was like, oh my god, I feel like I've been looking for this, I feel like I could read this already, I feel like I understand it, it felt like I just knew what it was. So I dove deep into that, and every day was like a deep dive into my chart. So gene keys is kind of like this hero's journey into like these different sequences, but it was built off of the foundation of human design, which brings in the Kabbalah, the I Ching, all these things. It's basically a map of the circuitry of your body and how your energy works, kind of related to the chakras as well, energy centers. And so I dove into that to try to uncover who I was, and I was super literal about it, very heady about it, very like, I need to get this right. I need to find all the shadows and extinguish all of this stuff in me that shouldn't be there. I got super perfectionist, and then also perfectionist about everybody around me, and it was a very transformative time though. Like I saw a lot of my stuff and worked through a lot of my stuff, and kind of went through a really deep dark night of the soul as well simultaneously while I was going into this, because I was also introduced to the mystical world, and I thought Harry Potter was not real and I wished it was real, and then I realized, oh my god, it's real. I met a clairvoyant and she opened the door for me. She was like, your aura is da 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 da, and I was like, I feel like I could, everything somebody would do, I'd be like, I feel like I could do that. Like, I just
I
felt so
believe
plugged
it.
in and connected to the mystical world. I was like, I can do that. I can do that. So the first thing I ever did was um, read auras, and I practiced on all of my people that I knew, and I had this website that I would go and get the information of the color because I didn't memorize the information of the color, but I would just tune in, get the color, and then I'd go to the website and be like, "This is you," and they're like, "Oh my god, that is me," and I'm like, "I'm so good at this." and then that fizzled out, and then I went into the next thing, and then the next thing. So I'm like a traveler of all sorts of different esoteric or mystical paths, like the basics, clairvoyance, mediumship, all that stuff. When I met you, I'm like, what are Hebrew letters? What are fire letters? I still don't know. That's even a deeper layer that I haven't even gotten to. I feel like I've brushed the surface of a lot of those, clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, like what are all these things? And so in my exploration, I found Gene Keys Human Design, and that stuck.
Yeah.
And I went deep into that.
And that's who you create. This is the 64 doors based on the 64 hexagram, 64 gene keys, 64.
Yeah, the way that
you created a whole
library,
library. Yeah.
It's like it's not necessarily interactive, but it personifies these archetypes, because the I Ching was actually used as a collective oracle, where it wasn't an individual thing where you can be like, oh, this is you, and da-da-da-da. It was more of like a calendar. And they knew that, during this time of the year, this energy would be apparent. And they would even like toss coins, the I Ching coins, to be able to prophesize. Like, just like you pulled cards for me too. Like, they would do that with the I Ching coins. Well, Ra Uru, who got a transmission in 1987 and downloaded the Human Design system. Richard Rudd, who founded Gene Keys, was studying under Ra. Then he branched off, built his own thing. I studied under both of them, not directly in a way. I know Richard, I speak to Richard, but I'm not like a personal student of his, besides like what he's created. And then Bella and I came together to pull astrology, I Ching, Human Design, and Gene Keys together to create archetypes, so that you could tune into inner archetypes. So we bridged the gap between the systems to bring the inner archetypes to life, so that you could kind of like get to know the parts of you, instead of it being like a personality trait or an attribute that is kind of harder to speak to and witness and even separate from, to look at it objectively and then bring it back into wholeness,
Right. And embodiment.
For sure.
To take this archetype and say, okay, this week I'm going to play around in whatever, the magician. And then you just take some inspired action that is connected or to this arc. Anyway.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
And embodiment didn't come for me until I met Bella, who was a lot into and about embodiment, tantra, the body. I thought that she was psycho because she kept talking about the body, the body, the body, the body. I was like, oh my God, is everything the body? And then it started to permeate into me. It's like, maybe this body thing is real. And then I saw a network spinal analysis chiropractor, and that's when I started to really buy into the body. I had to have hands-on experience with what can move and transpire in the body, and then everything shifted from there.
Beautiful. Okay, let's start from the beginning, though. I have to take you back into your personal story so that we know who is Ashley, how did this all happen, and wherever you want to start. But I want to know, what was your early child? How was that molded as a child? And really, how did you step on, how did you step onto the spiritual journey? Were you always interested? Did something spark it? What was your trigger?
I
want to know your child, like how,
yes,
because it's always just so interesting to be able to correlate this type of childhood. I don't know. I just love the pain and the wounding. And I know that sounds terrible.
You masochist, you.
But I think it's important because
that's okay. I love it too. Humanity brings us together.
It's what drives us. I want to know what your seeking was.
Yeah.
What
okay.
your seeking was.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So my parents, I'm the oldest child of two. I have a brother, and it's me, and we're 2 years apart. And I was the first grandchild too. Like, I was the first firstborn in my family's, like my immediate family, and then the firstborn in my mom's side of the family and my maternal side of the family. And my parents.
Sorry, keep going. Sorry.
That's okay. And my parents moved from Massachusetts to California, and so I wasn't born until they moved to California. And my mom came from a very nurturing, like, you're gonna stay at home and watch the kids, and your identity is to be a mother. So that was my mom's identity. That was my grandma's identity. My dad was super hardworking. He would always wake up super early in the morning. He was a truck driver, a cement truck driver, and a mechanic. He was very versatile in mechanical things and woodworking and hands-on stuff, and very much a perfectionist. It mattered. Quality of craftsmanship and pride of ownership mattered so much to him. And he wasn't very involved in school stuff, in extracurricular things. If you know anything about human design, he was a projector type. So he didn't have a lot of the energy that I had, that my brother had, that my mother had. So because he worked so much, he needed more downtime to just relax. He loved watching movies. He loved joking and stuff. We weren't raised religious until I had told my mom that I wanted to know God. I don't know where I got the idea of who God is or what God was, but I'm like, I want to know God. And she was raised Catholic, went to Catholic schooling, had a not so great experience. I feel like a lot of people rebel from going to like Catholic school because they're like the nuns and the structure and the restrictions and so she left that. I mean, and she kind of still kept faith of some kind, believing in God, but not having a personal connection to God. Right. And I was like, I want a personal connection to God. So she found a Catholic church. I went to the Catholic church. I remember I had my I did confirmation, I did communion, I did all the way up to confirmation, where you're like a teenager doing that. And I didn't find anything there. I found nothing there. I found prayers and rules, and I felt this is not what I was looking for. This isn't it. I don't know where it is.
I'm wondering, can I just interrupt? Do you recognize or do you remember why you wanted to know God? How did that come up inside of you? Was that just...
I think that I was very connected little girl. Like I can I always thought of you when I was thinking of you. I thought this is the one who would see little fairies or sprites. Yeah. When I was younger, when I was like 5-ish. So this is what happened. So here's my darkness, trauma, drama, whatever it is. So before I asked to know God, I played alone a lot by myself. I remember talking to imaginary friends. I remember vivid moments where I'm sitting in my room, there's a breeze coming in, and I'm talking to somebody, but nobody's there, but I know I'm talking to somebody. So I feel like I could sense into the energies, the other ghost people, spirits, whatever, energies around me. And we lived next to a family of swingers, and they were very open with their sexuality and very like vocal about it out in the backyard. And I was not real. My mom told me this stuff later. But they had a son, and his name was I'm not going to disclose it, but anyways, they had a son, and that son was, let's see, maybe 5 years older, maybe 3 to 5 years older than me. So I was in kindergarten, and maybe 4 or 5, I would have these experiences with him where he was sexualizing me. And since that moment of attraction, I've attracted all sorts of experiences where people are either exposing themselves to me or trying to pressure me, or there's always been some kind of sexual dynamic happening in my life. Lots. And
can I just say, Ashley, this is not an uncommon occurrence. This happens when many people have some sort of, I'm always bringing the conversation back to Kundalini, but some kind of Kundalini arousal, which means, your authentic self, your spiritual self is alive in the body. And that is so attractive to people. I mean, you can walk around and people are just drawn to you. You've become a magnet, but unfortunately, even though that the Kundalini is sexual energy, so you come off very sensual. And of course, the lower mind of the counterpart will take that as sexual and will stimulate them. So this is a very common occurrence in people who come into this life or any life with high spiritual energies kind of percolating inside of them. So yeah, anyway, just
well, thanks for, I mean, because I didn't know, I didn't even know anything was wrong either. I didn't know anything that I was doing, that he was doing, was wrong. I don't know actually the extent of it. I just remember meeting.
It doesn't matter.
I'm so glad it doesn't matter, because that was the beginning of my, when I was being opened up to my sensitivity again. That was one of the things that I was returning to. I'm like, there has to have been something that happened, and then I remembered some flashbacks, but I didn't remember any like specific moment.
Right. No,
I don't think there was a specific moment.
There was something.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that with that, I started to get older, and the things just started to shut off. But I'd always been curious. My curiosity was always there. I remember being interested in witches, and I was interested in palmistry, and I would play pretend games, like being like that and stuff. But I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the mentorship. I didn't know where to find it, but I longed for it.
Yeah.
And I met a woman when I was going through my who am I phase, like after I had my 3 boys. She was such an inspiration to me. She could hear the voice of God and very clearly knew her truth, had this really amazing discernment and filter, like so amazing. So I'm skipping back to like after I have kids, like
right.
So many other things happen and transpired, but I don't think that it's
not relevant. When someone comes in very early with this connection, you get the connection, and all these things happen to you. You see spirit, feel spirit, you feel whatever, and then it's there, that experience, to remind you later on, but then it all shuts down, because then you have to fulfill your karmic relationships and go through the blah, so that you can get back on the thing.
Yes. So I met her, and it was with her. Her name is Vanessa. It was with her that I met the clairvoyant, because I'm so business oriented. I always try to make everything a business. Yeah. So like we had a partnership. We were in direct sales. We created an event planning company that then became a graphic design company, because I was finding my talents and gifts, and I was learning how to be confident in them. And it also, I mean, everything I was doing was I was acquiring these tools to be able to use them now, and what I'm doing now. And when she was saying that she could hear the voice of God, I felt such betrayal. I was like, why are you not speaking to me, God? Why are you not in my life, God? Why do I not feel you? Why is it so apparent in her life? And she had taken me to her church, and it's much different than the Catholic Church. They're like asking the audience, what do you see? What do you sense? What do you feel? What do you hear? And that was never, I loved that. I'm like, I wish I had that. That's what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for.
I could see you sitting in the first row going, I'll tell you.
It was so fun. It was so fun. But I was so angry in a way.
Yeah.
And I feel like my karmic transmutation has to do with the Catholic lineage of, you don't have a direct connection to God, you have to go through the priest.
Yeah.
So and the patriarchy. So there's a lot of things I'm healing in terms of patriarchy, and this middleman that says that you can't go directly to God, like you're not clean enough, you're not worthy enough. So there's been some stuff surfacing recently where I'm like, wow, this is totally connected to this collective energetics of this, but I didn't have a specific experience of it, so I knew that I was transmuting that.
Did Vanessa have a particular message for you that
She always has
yeah,
messages.
I mean I didn't know if there was like yeah, some
Not a specific one, but she was very discerning. Her words always landed. You felt seen by her. You felt like, wow, she really, because one of her main things, like the mantra that she lives by, is like she wants to see everyone through the eyes of God.
yeah, that's beautiful.
So she's like an amazing person. Like
Wow.
she loves everyone and anyone. But she's like a warrior. She's not this soft, gentle. No, she's a fucking warrior.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys started a business, or this is you started a business with her. Wow,
Yes.
what a combination. Event
Yeah.
event planner with voice direct phone line to God. So did you call on God for now we think this event needs to go this way now.
We started to. I mean, we were getting into that kind of stuff. So basically, okay, this is what happened. We felt this calling. We were gonna start this company. It was called Raw, Relentless Authentic Women, and we wanted to bring together women in events and communities. We were gonna write a book too. And actually, I wrote it on my paper. So there are three phases. The first one was called Shine Your Light. The second one, or no, yeah, the second one was Embrace Your Crazy, because we all have we're all crazy. We are all crazy. Embrace your crazy. And then the third one was Empower Your Soul. And it didn't end up happening. It just kind of fell apart. And it wasn't meant for it to happen, and things started to crumble because I wasn't anchored in my core stability, and any outside influence tend to like sway me, because my whole life had been, what should I do, who should I be, go to college, get married, have kids. Like I was very good at reading who someone wanted me to be. Like I could read that energy and then be that. So that's why I woke up and was like, who am I? Because I didn't know who I was, and I didn't have that direct connection to God. But God, show me who I am. Show me who you think I am, who you made me to be. And so me and her had a coach. The coach was spiritual, but like dark spiritual, and it ripped our business apart. It ripped our business apart.
What do you mean a coach? Like a counseling the two of you, or like a business coach? Like
Me and her had made connections with this woman. The universe brought us this woman who was very like religious, but more so narcissistic.
I love
And
it.
like she created this program where it was called Exquisitely Evolved, and basically she would muscle test to see where you were on the program, how many brownie points you got. Like there was a scale, there was a
Oh.
comparison. It was crazy. I can't I mean, it was school. I am a really good student. I'm like, oh, okay, I will rise to that occasion. I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna be good at it. So that was what I was like. I had to go through this kind of like transmutation of the teacher's pet kind of energy. I'm like, I want to be the best. I want to be amazing. And the clairvoyant that me and Vanessa had spoken to in the beginning, she came to us and she was like, with a warning. She was like, this girl is not good. She has this, and this, like, da 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 da, like just divulging all this information. And I freaked out. She freaked out. I had brought a bunch of people into the program, and we broke apart the program. And like, there was like a huge collapse of it. There was a huge collapse of our business from that experience. I felt I don't have discernment. I can't be doing this business. So like we pulled apart. I went my separate way. She went her separate way. We're still really close friends. Like I see her all the time. And that's when I decided to go into Gene Keys and Human Design, because I started to do readings when the woman, the narcissistic mentor, she said, I dare you to make $15. I'm like, okay. And so then I sold a human design reading, and then I sold 100 of them. And then I was working like a crap ton every single day. But also, they were like $15 for an hour reading. And I didn't know my worth, not my worth, but I didn't know the worth of the service I was providing.
Wow.
I burned out super quickly. I learned so many things through experiential learning. like me doing it, and oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
And then I started to go off on my own to share my enthusiasm and excitement with Gene Keys and Human Design. I created a Facebook group where I was just giving all the resources of Gene Keys and Human Design, speaking about my interpretation of it. I just felt like I plugged into it somehow, and it was just like, and that's when I started to really, it was actually Human Design, reading those Human Design charts and the Gene Key charts, that I really developed my intuition, because I didn't do it through memorization of the books. I did it through like plugging into it, and it was so accurate, and I started to gain so much confidence.
Confirmation. The more confirmation, then you're just like, okay, I just trust it, even though there might still be residual doubt, which is a very good thing to have. Just do it. Wow. You fast track, girl.
I'm a speedy I'm a seeker to the max. Like, so when I told you, I started with auras. Every single full moon, a new gift would come, because I said, give me it. So aura reading, mediumship, clairaudience, like all the things on a different moon cycle. I play, and the only thing I spent a lot of time developing that I could say I'm really good at, that I've mastered, or at least gotten to that level of versatility and, like, you know, professionalism, is Gene Keys and Human Design. When I was playing with mentorship, I had a branding client with Vanessa, and her mom came to me, and she would not leave me alone, and she had just passed away. I'm like, I don't even know if her mom is alive. What if she is alive and I'm saying she's dead, coming to me? And I didn't know, and she was giving me all these messages, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And finally I went out on a limb, and this chick was not spiritual, and it would surprise the crap out of her. And then she was like, you took a risk telling me all of this. And then all of the stuff I was saying was verified and validated. And she was telling her, like, the dad is taking some of the money, he's hiding some of the stuff. And he was like, there was just so much stuff. I'm getting chills. There's just so much stuff that just got validated. I didn't keep going into mediumship. I didn't have as much. It's so scary to go to someone and who knows the person and be like, I'm talking to this person. Like, it's not like I was like a what is it called? Like, where you get the actual literal things to validate it. Like, I don't know. You have to, like, I wasn't that clear of a channel to, like, really receive. Yeah. Oh, they're showing, like, I don't know. I wasn't there yet. And so I didn't develop it. But I have so many spiritual tools that I have not mastered, but they're there, you know?
Sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear that.
Nope.
So, okay, I'm curious. I want to dig just I want to ask you a question. All these things that you're doing and currently, and all this sort of stuff, has that resulted in you knowing your God?
Ha! No.
Okay. No. And so is there still this inner, okay. So I don't want to ask another question. I don't know.
You can go there. I feel like you asked a good question, because I'm feeling emotional. I'm like, oh, that was a good one. Keep going. Yes. Keep digging to where you're digging. Well, I'm fine. You can poke me.
Yeah. I mean, I just wonder what that little girl meant by I want to know God. Like, what was that feeling that she was seeking?
Does it
feel like?
The father that I felt like I knew that things were wrong, and I knew, like, remember how I told you, like, I was like gaslit by my family when I told them that this boy, because we went back and visited them. And the boy I was 10 at the time, and he was maybe 15, so he was like a teenager. Yeah. He was like, Ashley, let me see your private part again. And I'm like, what, again? What do you mean again? And he was like, let me see it again. I'm seeing it all the time. I have AIDS. I'm going to die. I need to see it again. And I was in the clubhouse at night, in the middle of the night, in the clubhouse with him in the corner. He had cornered me, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this past that I don't know about? And what are you saying? What is true or not? I went to my parents and I told them that. and they gaslit me. They're like, no, no, no. And then they
Wow.
never revisited it either.
Can I just say something? Because well, I have a friend, I believe know this person. Yes, you do know this person. And the same situation. I just want to say out there, this makes me want to cry. It does not matter whether you believe the person or not. The fact that you believed it or knew it and felt it and was feeling the trauma of that knowing means it's real inside of you. And to have someone not believe you and act in accordance to not and think, it's like the most trauma. The original trauma isn't as bad as somebody not believing you and holding you and caring for you. It doesn't matter if it didn't even happen. It is your responsibility as a parent or whoever is hearing the story to say, tell me, what can I do for you? Instead of denying it. I'm so sorry. That just makes me so mad because it's real for you. And it was real. And
they didn't leave. We stayed there. Like they were like, go play. I'm like, let me go hide. Let me go hide from this like predator.
And they never asked you about it again?
They didn't ask me about it again. They were embarrassed because I said it out loud in front of the other people. I'm like, he just told me that he has AIDS and that he saw my vagina and and can I see it again? And I think that they felt like, no, Jimmy, he doesn't have AIDS. He doesn't have AIDS. I'm like, that's not the thing. That's not the thing. It's not that thing. That was his manipulating.
I mean, you could tell how uncomfortable they were probably in shock, man. When people
for sure. They were in shock, but it was not revisited. And so I felt like on my own. I'm like, okay, I'm on my own.
You're looking for maybe God as your protector.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I was looking for God. I mean, and I had been going to CCD, which is catechism class before that, because I think I started when I was 7 or something like that. I don't even know. I think you started at 7. So that came, and then I met Vanessa, and she could speak to God. I'm like, why is he not present in my life? And I felt like it needed to be this magical spiritual experience. I didn't know, do you hear God in your voice? Do you hear God in this booming voice? Like, what? I don't understand. And I mean, the closest that I feel I've gotten to God was when I did mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I have done mushrooms.
Yeah.
Anytime
Please share your spiritual experiences. We all love those good stories, but they're beautiful.
The first time I felt Kundalini energy was with a tiny amount of mushrooms. And I was with a group of people at a campsite.
How did you experience that? Oh, you were probably getting there. I'm probably joking.
Yeah. So, okay, so wait. So I have not, so drugs scare the crap out of me because I'm very sensitive to my body. If I feel anything happening in my body, I'm like, am I dying? Am I dying? Am I dying? That was my go-to. Everybody knows, like, if Ashley looks, like, if I take to, like, if I feel any kind of sensation, I'm like, because I'm super sensitive and I feel like.
So antihistamines, the drowsy kind, are not good for you. Am I dying?
Am I dying? Yeah, I had an experience. Like, let's backtrack a little bit to, I did brownies, like CBD, not CBD brownies, like the actual like marijuana. Yeah. And I apparently ate too much because I'm sensitive, and I could not feel my body. It started to go away. I was like, I think I'm dying. I lay down in the bed and I started to leave my body, and then my friend would come in intermittently and she's like, are you okay? I was like, I don't know, I feel myself leaving. I'm leaving. I think I'm dying. And she's like, you're not dying. Just chill out. And I would leave my body, and everything started to get so spiritual. Like I apparently did a high dose because I started to see all these contracts and stuff, and I was like, okay, show me this, show me that. But I was freaking out because I thought I was dying. But as soon as it started to wear down, I felt myself coming back. I was like, oh, what the hell can I do in here? What can I do up here in the spiritual realm? I was like, vow of silence or poverty or whatever it was. I was just ripping up all these contracts. I'm like, give me all the things that I don't need. And I was just ripping them up and just doing whatever I could to make the best of this experience. And that's been my experience with every single psychedelic is, I don't know when the peak is, but then once the peak comes and I was like, okay, I'm good. But I freak out getting to the peak because I'm like, how intense is it going to get? How long is this going to last? I get like that with all of them. So that was, I've done the edibles,
Yeah.
and then I started the psychedelics with the mushrooms. So the edibles, like, that was a freaky experience, but I was not grounded. I cried the first time someone showed me how to ground myself because I was so afraid of being in my body.
Yeah.
He was like, do you know how to ground? I'm like, what is that? I was like this floating head over here that wasn't embodied because of the trauma and all these different experiences. It wasn't safe to be in my body, so I went up here.
Right.
And that's how I lived my life for a good portion of my life, like
Yeah.
super long period of time, until I met this guy who showed me Gene Keys and Human Design. And then I wanted to show him my crystals, and we were talking, and da-da-da-da. He's like, do you know how to ground? And I'm like, no. And he showed me, and I started bawling because it felt so scary to be in my body. I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying. It just doesn't feel good. I don't want to ground. And
Oh,
yeah.
you were giving, it's like giving all the little cells in your body they've been screaming to have you back with them. And they were so being controlled by the mind this whole time. And when they were touched with their own true self, yeah, they felt liberated. Every time you ground, you liberate the
Wow.
consciousness in yourself. So it does make you cry because you think, there's other beings. I mean, we're all the same being, but you have other beings that you're responsible for in your body, your little helpers. Ooh, anyway, sorry about that. Okay, good.
No. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Oh.
So that was my first grounding experience, and then the edibles just validated the fact that I wasn't in my body because it was so easy to leave my body.
Yeah.
And I did mushrooms in 2019 maybe, and that was when I had my kundalini. Yeah, it was 2019. I had my kundalini no, it wasn't 2019. It was 2018 or 17. It was before I had my daughter. I had all my boys, but I didn't have my daughter. And by the way, I didn't want to have another child, and the psychic that I met that opened me up to Harry Potter world, she was like, I know you don't want another child, but you're going to have a girl, and she's going to be a very special gift for you. And I was like, no, I want no more kids. I don't even know if I want to be with my husband. Why do I need to have another kid? I don't want another kid. I have 3 kids, and I don't want any more. And I ended up having her in 2019. But it was before I had her, so it must have been 2000 and maybe it was 16 or 17. Yeah, something like that. But I went, my husband was on deployment, and he doesn't know about this, so anyways, he was on deployment. I hung out with his cousin, who was very spiritual. I had told him that I don't know how the conversation went, but he was already spiritual. We had a connection. He was so elated. He was like, "Oh my God, you're awake! This is so amazing!" Like, cause I don't know. He was so excited. So he invited me to a camp out that they were having on the beach, and it was beautiful. There was tents, and there were people doing LSD. I was not going to do LSD, and there was mushrooms there, and there was this guy there that I felt like super drawn to, not sexually, more like I don't know why I want to be around him. And they gave me like a tiny bit of stems and a little bit of stuff, and it was like so tiny. And with that, I got so sensitive. I was talking to this guy, again, another mediumship thing. I was like, I feel like your grandpa and your grandma's here or something. And I was telling him what I was seeing. He's like, oh my God, that's how I see them. And we were connected, and it was so amazing. And I felt really safe and grounded around him. Like, my cousin, Justin's cousin, and a bunch of other men surrounded me and this other woman. Me and her were in the center of a circle, and all they were saying was om, om, om. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And from there, I don't even know what happened, but because of their deep grounded ohms, it just like opened this like huge portal. I don't even know what happened. Anytime I got near that guy that I made the connection with his deceased family members, I started to feel this orgasmic wave. Like I would get like I would start to convulse, and it was like I was releasing, and then all of a sudden I was filled. And when I was filled, my whole body was feeling I was having an orgasm. I was like, what is this craziness? It was freaking wild. It was the crazy, and it lasted for maybe 2 days, like super intense, and then like tapered off. But I was like, this is crazy. And like I would leave him and start to talk, and I would get all these visuals for like other people. It was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, I feel so tapped in spiritually. And then I would lay in the tent next to him, and then all of a sudden I would get him, because he was so sensitive. He was tuning into me, so he was kind
Yeah.
of feeling it. But it's like almost like we were in a bubble.
Yeah.
Nobody else knew what was happening. Nobody else could feel, but
Oh,
for some reason, when me and him got next to each other, it's like my kundalini was liberated.
absolutely. Absolutely. And when you say it feels like an orgasm, it isn't like a real sexual orgasm, even though it's like something bigger.
Yeah.
It's not like it's it feels sexual, but in a divine way, where it's not. I don't know how to, but I know. Yeah, I just don't want people to think like, oh, kundalini. I'm going to go raise my kundalini so I could have an orgasm. This is it's different. Your
Yeah.
mind immediately goes, because I don't. It's just it's incredible. I do recognize, and that's fabulous.
I've never had that experience again. That was the only experience that I've had.
You tapped into ecstasy. Yeah,
I
yeah.
did. I did, and it
Wow.
was amazing. And I was like, can this happen again? I didn't do mushrooms again until
It
this
can, it
last year.
can, and it does when you are so in your body
Mm.
that all of your feeling senses can experience, be the receptors of that. You know what I mean? You can have Kundalini experience up here or in your body, and that would be the ecstasy, the rapture, whatever. Anyway, I think it's fabulous, and you two were just like sharing. Oh my, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it was, and
Brilliant.
it was so, and it wasn't sexual at all between like me and him. It was just like somehow the energetics that we had, like his blueprint, my blueprint,
Yeah.
it just liberated something.
Wow.
It was very wild. Nobody else, like I could get near other people, no. But if I was near him, it was like, whoa, that's crazy. And I felt the presence of Gaia is what I felt. Like, so it felt like Gaia. It felt like the Divine Mother, Gaia, or the Divine Mother. That is because I was so close to the earth. We were in a tent on the floor right in front of the beach. You heard the waves and
All
stuff.
the
So
elements.
God. It felt like I was being filled with like the divine milk of ecstasy in a way. It was like release, and then fill. Release, and then fill. It was like the waves of the ocean, like out and in, out and in. And I could make myself go back to it. Like if I would just like start shaking, it would come back.
Mhm.
I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And then afterwards, I was with Justin's cousin, because we didn't sleep there. We went back home, and I felt Jesus, Yeshua, like taking rags and like washing my bodies, washing my chakras. He's like on my
Oh,
sacral, like washing my sacral center. And I was telling him, he's like, that's wild. And it's not like I was seeing it like he's a person in front of me. It's like in my mind's
yeah,
eye, like I knew
yeah,
he was there. I knew
yeah.
what he was doing. He was talking to me. And from then on, or maybe it happened before, Jesus was my first mentor, and he taught me a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. I would go on walks in nature. He taught me to slow down. He taught me to like, I have spiritual experiences like all the time. It's a normal for me because I like it. I enjoy it. It's the
Yeah.
coolest thing in the world. So I'm open to it, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
And you don't need to be on drugs to be able to have spiritual experiences.
No.
You know,
No.
you don't need to do any kind of substances. You are spiritual. You are
Yeah.
spirit
You
and
just have to
body.
be willing to be open to it. You don't even have to believe it. You could just say, okay, I don't know if I believe it, but I'll be temporarily open. So, okay,
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just, because of your early childhood experiences, you were just already like, yeah, I know it. Okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And
Oh,
that's what I was seeking, is the mystical, magical,
yeah.
spiritual experiences. That is what, when you ask like what were you seeking, that's what I was seeking. That's what I'm always seeking. is
Yeah.
those experiences. So that was my first experience with.
And when you and I, recently I have also been creating, like, where is the magic? I want that magic. And it's not the magic in the manifestation of things, but it's that vibratory feel of magic in your body. I don't, do you know what I mean? There's that, it's a felt sense of magic,
I think
life
I
force.
I have been noticing that a lot has been shifting recently, and I don't find myself feeling the magic or excitement like I used to be.
No, I agree. That's why I've been asking, where is that I feel like everything's kind of gone flat a little bit.
Maybe it's resetting. I
I
don't
I
know.
I think
Something's
so.
happening for
Yeah, I
sure.
agree. I agree. Something has gotten a little, not flat, but we're in a holding space, like, what do you call that? Suspended animation.
Yeah, but
I
maybe
don't know.
we're pre Big Bang.
Yeah. I don't know, but something. Yeah, I would.
Something's happening. Yeah,
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 yeah.
definitely.
Okay, so I know you have more experiences because you've had some wild ones. So whatever
I
else you
have.
feel like sharing.
I have a lot of wild experience. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so in the beginning, when you pulled the cards, like the divine will, the first man, I have so many, I don't even know what I can. So basically, I've been listening to the sacred seal for divine will, feeling into the first ray, Archangel Michael, and fear, because we're transmuting, dissolving the deepest layer of fear in the bones in the body.
Right.
And Bella, my business partner, she just invited me like a couple weeks ago to do ayahuasca
Oh,
in
nice. Oh, I'm so
in
excited.
Florida. You can come. Do you
My
want to come?
God, I can't. Okay.
You can come. We got room. I've been avoiding ayahuasca like the plague since I had my first combo experience. I did frog medicine. I have like three points on this arm that face down, and I was gonna do another one on this arm, that the triangle facing up, so I could have a balance between the
Right,
masculine and the feminine.
right.
And when I did combo and I was purging, I went into the bathroom. There was like this breeze, and I was just like sitting there, and I started to see all these, like, it's not, combo's not psychedelic, but I was seeing, because I was purged and cleaned out, I was seeing all these images. Well, the snake came to me,
Mm,
and I was like, I know the frog is combo,
yeah,
and the snake is kundalini, and it's also ayahuasca.
yeah.
And I'm like, no, no, you go away.
Oh no, 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 no.
Yes, I was so scared. Just like scared of, I was, so first phase, scared of being in my body. I'm okay with being in my body. Second phase, scared of the power of my sexuality.
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
scared.
Mhm.
Super scared. Because of what it has attracted to me in my life. I'm like,
Absolutely.
so 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 okay, Gene Keys in Human Design, you can have you can have your chart. So where the sun was when I was born, because I'm in Virgo, it's the 6.5. So the 6th gene key, conflict, diplomacy, peace.
Mhm.
What's crazy is you're not this blueprint. Like,
Right.
you are it, but you're not it. It's a personality.
Right.
And if you change systems, like if you go to Vedic or if you go to Sidereal, it changes it.
Yeah.
So anyway, something that I've discovered, because I've detached from my need to like get this blueprint perfect, like I need to be this. No, no.
Yeah.
But I found that in Sidereal, because here we have whatever, I can't remember what it is, what the normal human design chart is built. Tropical, I'm 6.5 in my life's work. Sidereal, I'm 59.2. 59 is
Yeah.
dishonesty, intimacy, and transparency. And the 6 and the 59 make the channel of mating. Highly sexual, highly sensual, highly charged. It's for mating, it's for having children. I have both of these in these overlays of charts because we're so multi-layered and multifaceted. I am the tropical chart. I am the sidereal chart. I am the Vedic chart. I'm all of the charts.
Yeah.
And you can spend your whole life trying to figure out like how can I embody this chart. Doesn't matter. But anyways, that piece of information, I was like, wow, no wonder I have decided that sexuality is not safe.
Yeah.
Because the reason that you can't come into your purpose is because somehow, some way, you have had evidence to show you that it's not safe to be this.
Right.
And so, because I have this powerful sexual energy inside of me that I try to hide so much, that's what my biggest purpose is. My biggest thing to overcome is to reclaim this sexual nature, and to also bring that kundalini so that it's
Right.
flowing and it's not hiding, because at this point it hides because it's not safe to be fully expressed. Who knows what the hell I'd be like if that was completely liberated? I don't even know. But I'd have to have a lot of discernment, a lot of core stability. And so I know that my journey has been, okay, shut this down, learn some discernment, learn some boundaries, learn some core stability. So I understand why it happened and why I'm going through the things, because I need to have a firm anchoring and sovereignty in myself to be able to have that energy,
Yeah.
without like being taken advantage of or being manipulated or me manipulating. Like there's so many things, because I had used my sexuality, my body, for a manipulation because I wanted approval, recognition, love. So I used that energy and I would harness it. And I attracted my husband. And my biggest challenge in this lifetime is that connection I have with him. It's the hardest relationship I've ever had in my whole life. And sexuality and my sexuality is a huge theme in there. We've had like
Yeah.
3 kids, and it's just like I am not liberated sexually. And I know that ayahuasca has been calling me. My friend invited me to it in July. I said no. I knew that my mother-in-law sent me a dress and it was all ayahuasca colors. I was like, what the hell? She doesn't even know. She doesn't even know. I'm like, oh my God, I kept getting physical invitations, and energetically I feel it all the time. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I was terrified, so much fear, but I was afraid of fear itself.
Right.
I was afraid of the unknown. I
Afraid
didn't
of
know what was
being
gonna happen.
afraid, and yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm still terrified. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of what could happen. But I know that the storm, whatever storm I go into, it will be worth it.
Yeah.
Because recently I've had a lot of experiences where there have been a lot of storms, and at the end, it's always like the medicine you get at the other side is, it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
always worth it to enter the storm. And
Absolutely.
whatever it is. And I've been getting references about my inner warrior archetype and Mount Sinai. And I don't know much about Mount Sinai, but that I think that that's where Moses got the Ten Commandments. So I feel like part of what my experience with ayahuasca it is, what is my purpose? Who, like, I know who I am, but who do you see me as? And what I mean, I don't know, like, what, I'm only collecting evidence. This isn't even a mental thing. I'm just like, from the moment I said yes to ayahuasca, I've been tuning into my soul and collecting all this evidence. And I'm like, I'm not like, I'm fertilizing the garden. I'm sowing the seeds. I'm praying. I'm mindful, because I'm making a conscious connection with the plant, because I'll be sitting with ayahuasca and she's already here. She's already doing the work with me and in me. And I know that the purpose of this is for sacred union, is for like committing to myself, marrying myself, being
Yeah.
devoted to myself and loving myself, and truly
Oop. Yeah.
acceptance was not something that I was looking for other people's approval and acceptance, but I would
Yeah.
never just be like, accept me. It's like, who do you want me to be? So then I can be that.
Yes, 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 all that. And I want to, and I just want to go back. I know we'll wrap this up very shortly. We're at an hour. 1 again. Um, this thing with Kundalini and heal, and I really feel like when you go on this journey with ayahuasca. Something, I think your whole, I'm just speculating, I'm just guessing here. But this is my actual hope for you, is that I really don't, because at an early age you said, I want to know God. Um, it seems to me that you are here for the true awakening of consciousness within. And this isn't about, it's totally about Kundalini doesn't really need you to heal your sexual and to use that energy for beautiful, of course, beautiful sexual encounter. I don't know what I'm saying, encounters with your husband, of course, heal that, of course. But she is asking you to go within and awaken the consciousness within. And that's where you'll find the God, your God, you as God. I think your whole journey might switch from the outer world to the inner world. I know I'm
Sure.
not making sense, and I know you already know this, but maybe I was misreading that you were. Sorry, I don't even know what this is an interview. I just feel like something's
No,
going to.
you're don't apologize for it.
But
Like you're
because this longing for
God.
God is not going to be found in any tools,
Mm-hmm.
and we can get misdirected by the mind with this Kundalini energy that it's that
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Yeah.
now I have to go heal my sexual. It's I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm
Yeah.
going off on a tangent.
And I
Anyway,
think that that's always been so the whole I want to know God, that has been since a kid the first like I'm seeking something. The
yeah,
first I'm
that
seeking.
that means the consciousness inside of you has already begun to wake up, but it needs you to turn your focus inwards
Yeah.
to kind of tap it.
And I mean I've done that, but I think I don't dare ask the question, who is God? I want to meet God. I heard, and it's popping into my mind right now. I don't know what conversation I was in, but like somebody or a shaman or somebody was like, whenever people ask to see God, it's like
Look at them.
that's funny because you're not going to see God until like you've gone through the layers of stuff. And I was like, well, why don't you even ask that question to know God if like I'm needing to go through all these layers? Or maybe I am ready to know God, to meet God, to whatever, and just ask that big question that I actually won't give to myself.
Yeah, well, number one, you are God, but not, um, it's something
Well,
else you said,
that's
and
such a
I know,
that's such a mental
I know. Just look in the mirror.
I have a mental understanding of that.
I
Like, oh,
know, I
yeah,
know.
of course, we're God,
Um,
connect. I understand that, and I've had spiritual experiences, but the big, like, have you had that experience? Like, the God in
and
me.
yes, and it's not what you think. It is not an experience. It can almost be disappointing and
Mm,
awe-striking awe-striking
mm-hmm.
at the same time. It's not what you think. It's not what the ego thinks. It's completely different.
Hmm.
But you made statement that I have to heal myself, balance myself. Well, that's the ego mind taking control of, I have to be perfect in order for Kundalini to start working on me, when in fact, if you were to gently work with her and tell her you're ready to surrender into her, she knows what you need and she'll bring it to you. I She is you.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to be healed perfectly, psychologically, emotionally, sexually first, because she knows the best route to take. And by the way, she's already been working in you. She's been tapping all of your brain centers and giving you so many gifts. I mean, whew. Anyway, let's continue on with your just wrap it up, your final words, what you want to share. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry, I did not mean for this conversation to go that way. Yeah.
it can go anyway. I'm open to anything. Actually, last night I listened to one of the Sacred Seals, not the first one, but there's this song that I was listening to like yesterday as well, and it's called Control, and it's from um, of King and Country, which is like
Oh,
a Christian band. I love worship music. It like helps me connect to
yeah.
divinity, you know. And it's about like releasing control, surrendering control, and it was just, and I can't even think of the lyrics now, but they were playing over and over and over in my head. And last night I was just surrendering to like and
Oh.
accepting what was happening, what's going. Even my daughter waking up, I'm like, okay, get her. And even like my husband was cracking his wrist, and it was like, I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Accept and surrender. Like you can't control. Like like I was just like letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go of like the annoyance. Like okay, I'm annoyed. Okay, I'm this. Okay, I want to go to like it's like. So I was practicing. That because I felt I was praying to ayahuasca earlier because I was like, I want like prepare me. Like what would you have me what would you have me do? And it's like, well, you have to surrender, you have to release control, like let go, let go. And so that's what I was like practicing, and immediately I had all these experiences to test it. I was like, thanks for the instant manifestation of this. Like it was wild. But I think what I wanted to say is like to just like, because I talked about my childhood.
Yeah.
I had a perfectionist father. I went to the church where there was a priest. There was always a middleman, and you always had to repent your sins. And innately, you were sinful and flawed. And so that was kind of what I was imprinted with.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I'm going to be like, I need to heal. I don't know what wholeness is. I did it. I'm always going to have judgments about my state of being because
Yes.
it's always like you're not whole, you're not pure enough to
Well, I mean, basically, that's like the whole story of the spiritual journey in the spiritual community. Heal yourself. I mean, when do we, let's stop, let's just focus on all of our good stuff, can we? And just build that up and forget the rest. I mean, God. Anyway.
It's funny because I have this truth and this knowing that we don't actually have to heal. We don't have to do all these things. But I think the belief that reinforces this path we have to go on to heal is the fact that we're flawed. We're not perfect already. We're not accepted. We are not God. God is outside of us. We have to like reach enlightenment. There's like a goal of
Yeah.
some kind. Like
Yeah.
everyone is going to a future goal, a future moment, or like climbing that mountain, and it's like, what if we could just let go of that belief and be like, I'm worthy, I'm whole, I'm healed, I'm perfect.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know? And I
Yeah.
think, I mean, I know that, but it's like, how do you release all of this other weight that everybody else subscribes to? You know? How do you just like, because and then how do you keep living it? Because of course you can be like, okay, release that. But then there's so much conscious awareness to be like, oh, but I'm doing it again, where I feel like I'm not whole. It's like you're always going to be like, oh yeah, do you really believe that? Oh no, you don't. You're going back into that path, you know? I'm not whole, I'm not healed, and I'm not perfect.
If you were
I'm
not
not whole.
neurotic, you get on the spiritual journey and you become neurotic.
You do. Sometimes I'm like, why did I go through this door? Am I any better off now than I was before?
I know. Believe me, and yeah, you're going to end up in. Believe me, when you recognize God within, says hello, wake into your world, you're going to go, holy shit, nothing's changed. I'm right back where I started, but now, and you're going to go, oh my God, it was so. Yeah. Anyway, it's hilarious.
We'll have to have another conversation after September.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Oh, I know you'll do videos and sharing your stuff.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I actually I've been detaching more and more from like I got a new phone. I didn't download Facebook or I have no social media apps on my phone.
What?
I know, it's crazy. Bella's over there like on Facebook doing the things, and I only go on to do what I need to do, and then I get off because I feel like I'm purging from
That's good.
this. I'm just putting more space so that I could be in just my energy.
That is so perfect. Beautiful. Yeah. So, um, just talk about what you do. How could anything you want to share about what you do and unlock your Zine, how people can connect with you. Let me tell you, Ashley and or Ashley and Bella, these two women, if you ever everything you ever wanted to know about all your charts put together, go there. Go to
Yeah,
Ashley, go to Bella, or I think you do things together.
normally, yeah.
Phenomenal. Whatever reading you could ever want, whatever information you could ever want. I mean,
You
if
can
you're
go
into
to Unlock Your Design, go to unlockyourdesign.com or the64doors.com. That'll get you started. Like you'll be able to download your charts and stuff and get to know it. But I mean, if you're a heady person, this is going to be amazing for you.
yeah,
However, I don't think you need it. And this is my business. This is my business, but this is
no, I
what
understand.
I don't think you need it. If you're seeking the question, who am I? Go ahead. Go ahead and dive into this. But if at some level you know who you are, then you don't really need it. I would say I feel like I'm on the bandwagon of psychedelics right now, so I'm like, find a shaman and do some mushrooms. It's very
Yeah,
gentle, and it's not like if you want to go hard, like go big or go home, then do ayahuasca. But don't do it because I'm telling you. Do it because you're called to it.
yeah, absolutely.
There has to be a calling. Is the calling who am I? Is the calling who is God? Like, what is the calling? I feel like there's always a call. And it's the call of the soul leading you on the path
Yeah,
towards this wholeness, healing, perfection. And I don't think you need to do anything. So you don't need to learn the charts. You don't even need to do, like, it's just, can you surrender the control, which is like the ego mind, you
yeah,
know? It's like
absolutely.
how much can you surrender to your source, to your soul, to your spirit, to the spark of divinity within you. And honestly, after all this shit is out of the way, the I need to be healed, I need to be whole. Like I think that what we're here to do is to have fun and to create. However, in what capacity? We all are creators in this world, so whatever can get you to creatorship, like to actualize, like I'm God, I can create my reality. It doesn't need to be like this woo woo like instant manifestation thing. I'm talking about like what are your true innate gifts and are you bringing them to the world? Like
Right.
and it's like your spark of creation, your spark of creativity. Like you were saying, Kat, like feeling like we're suspended in animation and there's nothing happening. I feel like a lot of us are there and there's this go button that
That
we're
was easy.
press and then it's going to be like big bang. But I feel
Yeah,
like it's just about realizing you're just here to live life. So stop trying to do anything and just start
exactly.
living your life. Just start living
Exactly.
your life, whatever capacity that looks like, and you'll gain confidence based on the natural innate talents you already have. Everybody that's watching this are adults. You have everything you need inside of you. You don't even need to learn anything else. You don't need to learn gene keys. You don't need to
And you know
learn.
what? And you were already doing it as a child.
Yeah.
It's like your natural innate gifts that you are here to do, you're already doing them and you can't see them because they're so natural. And you were doing them as a child. But because they're so boring to most people, anyway, it's
It's true.
yeah,
Our
it's just
kid knew. Our kid knew. Our kids know. I'm like watching my kids because I'm like, oh, what are you really already naturally
yeah,
good at? What are you already doing?
that they
Take,
do without even thinking. It's just yeah,
and it's like they're being led because they're not trying to control. There's no resistance. They're not trying to make money and support a family. There's
right.
no pressures on them. And when you release all the pressures, you get to just like it's like the path of least resistance just takes you, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, all right. Yes, I'm excited. It's like follow your vitality, follow your bliss, follow what lights you up. That's the reason that we're here is to play. And I feel like so many people have left their inner child behind, and that's probably another conversation to have. I
Yeah.
feel like we're fragmented so much from our inner child that we don't have curiosity anymore. We don't want to play. We don't want to be lighthearted. We can't get because we're stuck in seriousness and we're
Mhm.
stuck in judgment and we're stuck in doubt and we're stuck of all these things. And like the child can just bring you into flow naturally.
Yeah.
It's like you need to be all of it. Embody the inner child, embody the inner masculine, the inner feminine. Like, you have a whole divine family living inside of you. It's like, how are they getting along? Are they getting along?
Absolutely.
It might be a family right now, but anyway.
Okay, so okay, final question, and maybe. So I'm just curious, Ashley, if you had, this is that one question. What if you didn't have any of these businesses or anything? What would you really be?
What would I be doing?
Yeah, what would you? I mean, maybe this is what you're doing, but I always think that there's always a small little voice inside of somebody that they're not quite listening to. Like, for example, for me to admit that really what I wanted to do in life, which is what I was doing as a child, was to be able to be alone and contemplate and do a lot of nothing. I mean, because that's what I did naturally as a child. So I'm wondering, is there a deep, small inner voice in you that is still
a deep, small inner voice?
Just,
yeah, I mean, right now what's really exciting me or lighting me up is I've told you this before. I want to sell my home, and I want to get a camper, and I want to go explore the land. I want to be in nature. Like, I've already started to get rid of Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, and honestly, I can feel I'm leaving a legacy. This is a legacy, but I know that what I'm doing now is not what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bella and I are working together, and we're creating this, and Bella may be doing this forever, but for me, I'm building this foundation because when you want to leave your house, you have to sell it. You have to make it like, can people come in and know how to work in here? Is the kitchen functional? Is everything good? The same thing with the business. I feel like there's going to be somebody behind me that's like, who am I? Great. Here's an entry point.
Yeah.
Find out who you are, because it's always about transcending these systems, these tools. It's like, you use it, you get it, and then you're like, okay, now I'm unboxing myself again, and now I'm unboxing. It's like so many boxes that you're unboxing so that you can feel your limitless nature. I want to get a camper. I want to feel limitless. I want to have a felt sense of freedom and limitless.
Yeah, you are a natural explorer, and you have already been that your whole life by all these modalities. That's your true and authentic self.
Yes.
I see that completely. Yeah.
Oh. I'm ready. Actually, we're probably going to be doing it next year. My husband's going to get out of the military. He's taking his pilot's license. So I want to explore the land. He's explored the sea in the Navy. Now he wants to explore the air by being a helicopter pilot.
I love it.
I want to explore the land. So I feel like we've got all the things down pat. It's like, okay, does anybody want to go to space? Because that's the only thing we're kind of missing here in our family. Who wants to be?
Well, I guess that's what ayahuasca's for, the etheric space. I mean, you're going to be on the road. You'll just be taking us on the road. We can take the exploring magical mystery bus.
Oh, yes. I'm going to find in the mundane, and I'm going to keep finding it. I'm going to be like, hey, look this is where I'm at, and here's the magic. This is where I'm at, and here's the magic. I'm going to be a wild woman.
I can totally see that. That is so you.
I'm totally doing it.
So you.
Soon.
Okay, well, the magical mystery tour bus is coming soon with Ashley and her 4 kids and husband. That will be a great movie. Anyway,
a second before we end, just throwing this in here because you just said something. You said the Magic Mystery School Bus. Do you remember that old school cartoon called the Magic School Bus?
I don't know if I recognize the name, but I don't.
The Magic School Bus has this teacher. Her name is Miss Fizzle, and the Magic School Bus gets very small and can go inside of your body to explore what's happening. They got all sorts of places, and I'm like, you told me too. You were like, all this tool searching out here, and then ayahuasca is going to bring you inside. It's about coming inside. And my magic school bus is going to explore the outer worlds, but then like the ayahuasca and the psychedelics is the inner world. It's like the outer world and the inner world.
Absolutely. 100%. Oh, you're giving me chills. I'm so excited for you. So hurry up, top, so I can live vicariously through you.
You don't really want to. You want to be alone by yourself in contemplation. That's what you said.
But I wouldn't mind a little ayahuasca to go with it. Anyway, enough of that. I'm so excited for this journey for you. I can't wait to hear about it. Like I said, I think you're brilliant. So you're just, I don't even know. Anyway, I think you're wonderful. And thank you for sharing your story with us. And I will stop recording. Thank you everyone for watching. We're going to stop recording.